Hello. Today I'll talk about Bath of Bangladesh by Nurul Kabir. Chapter 3, West's Betrayal ignites flame of national liberation in the East, hesitant leadership lagging behind a rebellious people. This chapter's time span is from Pakistan's first ever general election of December 1970 to 24th March 1971, just before the genocidal crackdown of 25th March. Army League won their seats only for the East, not a single seat from West Pakistan, and Pakistan People's Party won their seats only from the West, and not a single seat from East Pakistan. Sadly, reminds me of school children, us and them. Army League, being victorious, naturally hoped for the National Assembly to meet, form a government, and make a new constitution for Pakistan where they will share the power with the West. Yahya Khan talked of transfer of power, called Sheikh Mujibur Rahman the future Prime Minister of Pakistan. But they didn't like the election results. It was, in fact, quite a shock, as intelligence agencies reported that not a single political party from East or West would win enough seats to form a government. Moreover, they delayed National Assembly sessions. The West, with its civil, political, and military elites, ruled East and West Pakistan from 1947 and didn't want to transfer power to the East, that is Army League. Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, highly ambitious chairman of West-based Pakistan People's Party, represented the West Pakistan as a counterpart of Sheikh Mujib, but he did not have the political legitimacy because of the LFO, Legal Framework Order, that is 1970, where West Pakistan became non-existent and for the election recognized 4 provinces instead: Punjab, Sindh, Balochistan, NWFP, that is Northwest Frontier Province. General Yahya Khan and Bhutto bargained for power with Sheikh Mujib with the fact that they were from Punjab and Sindh, the bastion of power, since soldiers and officers of Pakistan Army were mostly from these 2 provinces. Bhutto privately proposed a deal to accept a constitution based on the Army League's 6-point. For that, he wanted 4 out of 10 cabinet membership with the deputy prime ministership or presidency. Sheikh Mujib declined. Yahya, just like Bhutto, privately proposed that he would remain president. He wanted ministries of defense, foreign affairs, finance, interior, commerce, and communications under presidential jurisdiction. He wanted to appoint judges, attorney general, chief election commissioner. How come he demands this to a political party who won the election? Part is tough to share, I guess. Again, Sheikh Mujib declined. Bhutto tried to collaborate with other parties of the West, and interestingly, most of the parties rejected to support him and wanted the General Assembly to function. After discussion with Bhutto, Yahya changed a provision of LFO. You remember LFO I mentioned earlier? Legal Framework Order. Now, anyone can resign from the assembly before it starts. Bhutto collected resignation letters from his party MPs. Now they cannot enter House of MPs, cannot vote for Sheikh Mujib in Parliament without Bhutto's permission. He was a very tricky guy, though short-sighted. After that, Yahya started postponing dates of National Assembly. March 3 of 71 was postponed for an indefinite period. People of East Pakistan understood that West will not honor the election result, which created distrust, and it is nothing short of pure betrayal. A large number of people, especially rebellious students, were disillusioned by the concept of Pakistan as a state and was thinking or openly talking of independence. There were protests on the streets of Dhaka, towns and villages on March 1, 71. Archer Kiblat, American Consul General in Dhaka, wrote to Islamabad, chances of continued unity between East and West Pakistan, which struck us as 50-50 before Cyclone, and 75-25 against after cyclone and elections now stand after postponement of convening of National Assembly at 100-0. By the way, The Blood Telegram by Gary Jabaz is a good read. Sheikh Mujib announced week-long program on March 1, a general strike on March 2 in Dhaka, general strike on March 3 throughout East Pakistan, public meeting at Racecourse Ground on March 7. Now, the author wrote almost 30 pages on March 7 speech. Its ins and outs, what he said, how he said, why he said, his planning, navigating through lots of demands and expectations and pressures and intimidations of the whole 7 days. I've read up to chapter 3 of this book, but these pages are full of intrigues for me of those 7 days. There was pressure on the Army League, especially from the radical elect section, to declare independence. Some still wanted peaceful transfer of power to the elected representatives of the people and withdrawal of martial law. After watching the demonstration on March 6, he announced the assembly will start its session on March 25. At the same time, he blamed political leaders of the East and also talked to Sheikh Mujib over phone, requesting him not to take a step from which he cannot return. Yahya then sent a message that he would come to Dhaka soon for a settlement which he can use as an excuse or alibi to tell the world that he tried in case independence were declared by Sheikh Mujib on 7th March. West Pakistani military officers who admired and respected Sheikh Mujib informed him that a declaration of independence will bring Tikka Khan, the butcher of Balochistan, to show his cruelty in the East, as he had already been appointed as chief martial law administrator here. Moreover, Sheikh Mujib sent a close confidant and later on two other emissaries to then GOC, General Officer Commanding of the East Pakistan Army, to take or rather escort Mujib into protective custody. The GOC refused and replied to the emissaries that he believes that Mujib is a patriot and he won't demolish Pakistan that they all helped to create. The GOC also said that during the speech he would have the army armed with guns and tanks. If Mujib attacks integrity of the country, the army would march in immediately. There are lots of important details, pages after pages, regarding the historical speech and many arguments and counter-arguments and debates that I won't go into. Please do read the book. So, Sheikh Mujib was really in a complicated situation. It is best described by a paragraph written by the author that I will read from page 320. The Sheikh, indeed, had reasons to be happy about his historic speech, for with the speech he had been able to contain the conflicting pressures from the opposing sides, the rebellious Bengalis aspiring to move ahead for national independence on the one hand, and the ruthless Pakistani generals who threatened him earlier with dire consequences for a seditious speech on the other. The Sheikh's speech contained nothing seditious, while it clearly indicated to Yahya's military junta that he was ready for a negotiated settlement over the transfer of power to his party. The speech, on the other hand, communicated to the radical sections of the Bengalis that they were free to chase the dream for independence in case of a negative Pakistani response to the Bengalis' legitimate right to rule Pakistan for some years. The political ambiguity or the scope for multiple interpretations of its contents was the beauty of the Sheikh's historic speech. Now, that paragraph reads like poetry to me, or how should I say, political poetry. One last thing. In an interview to David Frost in January 1972, Sheikh Mujib said that he didn't want to declare independence on that day because he wanted the Pakistanis to hit us first. But The debate should go on. After all, that's the beauty of democracy. Take care. Goodbye.